In this first task, you will learn a new way to add data to QGIS Desktop. You will then set the projection for the map project, organize the data layers in the Layers panel, and change the layer names. First, open QGIS Desktop. Then, click View, Panels, Browser Panel. That opens the browser panel over here. And if you want to resize it, you can put your mouse over the dots, click and drag to resize it. Using the file tree in the browser window, let's navigate to the Lab 4 data folder wherever you save that. So for me it's C drive, GST 101, Lab 4 data. Right click on the Lab 4 data folder and choose Add as favorite. Then we can collapse the C drive and you can see in my favorites I have my Lab 4 data. Now if we expand the favorites, we can see the folder listed, and we can see 5 shapefiles in the lab data folder: Canada.shape, landownership.shape, Mexico.shape, sage-grouse current distribution.shape, and western states.shape. And we can select all of them by holding down the control key and clicking on them individually, and then dragging them onto the map canvas. Now if you do not see anything displayed in the map canvas, such as shown here, you may need to zoom to full extent of the map by pressing the Zoom Full button, which is this button here, or you can click View, Zoom Full. Okay, so let's save the QGIS project. So click Project, Save, and navigate to your lab folder. So I do that now. And save it as lab4.qgs, and then click Save. So we have 5 layers in the map canvas, but currently all we can see are data for Canada, Mexico, and the western states. When you cannot see a data set, one approach is to make sure the spatial extent to your map window covers that data set. In the Layers panel, right-click on the sage-grouse current distribution layer, and then from the context menu, choose Zoom to Layer. So the map is now zoomed to the western United States, but we still cannot see anything that looks like habitat data. That's because the layers in the Layers panel are drawn in the order in which they appear. So the layer that is on top of the list in the Layers panel will be drawn on top of all other layers in the map view. Notice that the western states layer is in the top position. This means that the western states is covering up the sage-grouse current distribution and land ownership data since they're placed lower in the Layers panel. So let's change this drawing order. So select the land ownership data layer and drag it to the top position and then let go. Now drag the sage-grouse current distribution layer all the way to the top and let go. And your map should now look like this. Now note in the lower right hand corner of the QGIS display, it shows EPSG 4269 OTF. This is the EPSG code for the coordinate reference system the map is currently in, and OTF is an indication that on-the-fly projection is enabled. So let's take a closer look. So let's click on Project Properties, and then click on the CRS tab. And here at the bottom you can see that the selected CRS is NAD 83, and here are the details of that projection. Make sure that Enable on-the-fly CRS transformation is checked. Then click OK. Now since the sage-grouse current distribution layer is an Albers projection and the QGIS map is in a geographic coordinate reference system, that means that the sage-grouse current distribution layer is being projected on the fly into the geographic projection of the map. So right click on the sage-grouse current distribution layer and choose Set Project CRS from Layer option. This will put the map into the Albers coordinate reference system of the sage-grouse layer, and all the other layers that aren't in that coordinate system will have on-the-fly projection to change them to the new EPSG code of 5070. Now let's change the layer names in the Layers panel. The layer names match the names of the shapefiles by default. However, these names will appear in the legend, so you will always want to change these to proper names that you want your map reading audience to understand. So right-click on the sage-grouse current distribution layer, then choose Properties, which is shown off screen, but it's down further in the context menu, to bring up the Layer Properties window. Click on the General tab and change the layer name to sage-grouse habitat, and then click OK. And you'll see that it changed here in the Layers panel. Alternatively, you can right-click on a layer and then choose Rename. So let me bring this out here so we can see it. If I right-click, you can see that I can choose Rename, and then I can rename it directly in the Layers panel. So we're going to change the names for the other layers as well, so they look good. So I'm going to change Land Ownership to Federal Land Ownership. It will change Western States to State Boundaries. And now we're going to put the Layers panel back. I'm going to put it at the top this time, and I'm going to click the Save button to save my project.